Social Studies, Unit 2, Lesson 4, the Roman Empire. From Republic to Empire. Tradition says Caesar ignored a warning to beware of the Ides of March. March 15th, on that date in 44 BC, Caesar's enemies surrounded him at the Senate building and stabbed him to death. Civil war followed Caesar's death. On one side were forces led by those who had killed Caesar. On the other side were his grandnephew Octavian and the generals Antony and Lepidus. These three men defeated Caesar's killers in 43 BC. Civil war continues. Peace would not last long. Octavian soon forced Lepidus to retire. Then he and Antony divided the Roman world between themselves. Octavian took the west, Antony took the east. Octavian and Antony soon came into conflict. Antony fell in love with the Egyptian queen Cleopatra and formed an alliance with her. Octavian told the Romans that Antony, with Cleopatra's help, planned to make himself the ruler of the Republic. This alarmed the Senate, which then supported Octavian in a war against Antony. Octavian crushed the army and navy of Antony and Cleopatra at the Battle of Actium in 31 BC. The couple then fled to Egypt, where they killed themselves. Octavian now stood alone at the top of the Roman world. The period of the civil wars was over, but so was the Republic. Octavian becomes Augustus. After his victory, Octavian was named imperator, or one who commands. Our word emperor comes from imperator. Octavian had the power to veto any law, rule all Roman provinces, and to control the army. As a sign of Octavian's power, the Senate gave him the name Augustus, meaning honored one. Augustus set about reforming the government, reorganizing the empire, and creating a permanent army and navy. Our month of August is named in his honor. Notes. When Caesar died, a civil war followed. Octavian ruled the west while Antony ruled the east. Antony fell in love with Cleopatra and it caused a war between Antony and Octavian. Octavian won the war and that caused Antony and Cleopatra to go to Egypt and kill themselves. Octavian ruled the Roman world, but the Republic was eliminated. Octavian had complete control. The Senate named Octavian Augustus. Augustus means honored one, and the month of August comes from the name Augustus. The Roman peace. For centuries, the Mediterranean region had been filled with conflict. Under Augustus and his successors, the region was under the control of one empire. Augustus's rule began the Pax Romana, or Roman peace. This peace lasted nearly 200 years. Augustus's empire. Augustus rebuilt Rome with stately palaces, fountains, and splendid public buildings. The arts flourished as never before. Augustus ordered a system of roads built to connect Rome to every part of the empire. Once built, they helped to make communication, trade, and travel throughout the empire possible. Augustus devoted much of his energy to improving Rome's government. A census, or count of the population, was taken. The tax code was reformed, and laws were changed to increase the power of the government. This helped to unify the vast territories of the empire. Roman cities enjoyed police and fire protection. Aqueducts, long stone structures, were built to bring fresh water into cities. Many Roman cities had huge public baths with picture galleries and libraries. For entertainment, gladiator matches and chariot races were common across the empire. The fall of Rome. By AD 200, the empire began to decline. New civil wars combined with Germanic and Persian invasion weakened the economy. A common problem the economy suffered was inflation. This was the rapid increase in prices. One effect of inflation was less income. With less income, fewer taxes were paid, and the empire could not afford to defend its borders. To better govern the empire, the Emperor Diocletian divided it into a Western and Eastern empire in AD 293. His successor, Constantine, moved the center of power to a city in the east called Byzantium. In honor of himself, he renamed the city Constantinople. The Western Empire shrank in importance and power. Finally, in AD 476, a Germanic tribe conquered the city of Rome. Even so, the influence of Rome would outlive its empire. Roman traditions continued in the Eastern or Byzantine Empire for almost 1,000 years. In the West, small Germanic kingdoms adopted Roman laws, customs, and languages. Christianity. When Augustus was emperor, a child named Jesus was born in the province of Judea. This young Jewish boy would grow into a man whose ideas would greatly affect the world. The New Testament of the Christian Bible has many stories of the life and teachings of Jesus and his followers. Around AD 30, Jesus left his home in Nazareth and for 3 years traveled Judea preaching and explaining his ideas. Some believe Jesus to be a leader called the Messiah, sent by God to rule the world with peace. Messiah in Greek is Christos, and Jesus' followers became known as Christians. Jesus' teaching often used parables or simple stories that contain a message. Some of these stories taught the value of seeking the right path in life. Others described the greatness of God's love or stressed the importance of loving all people. Many of these stories taught that God forgives mistakes and wants all people to turn away from the bad deeds. The death of Jesus. Jesus' growing popularity troubled some people in power. They were afraid that Jesus wanted to be king of Judea. Such worried the Roman governor who feared a revolt. When Jesus came to Jerusalem to celebrate the Passover festival, the Romans arrested him. The Roman governor executed him by crucifixion, meaning putting to death by hanging from a cross. The New Testament says that Jesus rose from the dead 3 days after his crucifixion. Then he rejoined his followers and told them again of the coming kingdom of God. Afterwards, the New Testament says, Jesus rose to heaven. Today, Christians celebrate his renewed life on Easter Sunday. Christianity grows. One man who helped spread Christianity never even met Jesus. Saul of Tarsus grew up in what is now Turkey. He was well educated in Judaism and the Greek classics. At first he opposed Christianity, but later he became a Christian and changed his name to Paul. He spent the rest of his life spreading Jesus' message and founding churches throughout the Eastern Mediterranean. Around AD 60, Christianity began to draw the attention of the Roman Empire. Some Roman rulers punished Christians because they would not worship the emperor. Christians were often willing to die rather than give up their beliefs. Despite these hardships, Christianity continued to spread. In AD 311, the Roman Emperor Constantine became a Christian. According to tradition, he believed the Christian God had helped him win a civil war and become emperor. Constantine issued an order called the Edict of Milan. It gave religious freedom to all people in the empire and made Christianity legal. Constantine built Christian churches in Rome, Constantinople, and Jerusalem. One of his successors, the Emperor Theodosius, made Christianity the official religion of the empire in AD 392. The Byzantine Empire. The Roman Empire in the East lasted almost 1,000 years after the fall of Rome in AD 476. The population of the Eastern Empire was largely Greek, and its people spoke Greek. They continued the traditions of Hellenism and combined them with Christianity and the traditions of Rome. The Queen of Cities. Constantinople grew rich from trade and manufacturing. Its walls were a marvel of engineering that stopped all attackers for nearly 1,000 years. The city also had the largest church in the world called Hagia Sophia, or Holy Wisdom. Justinian the Great. In AD 527, Justinian became emperor in the east. Under Justinian, the Byzantine Empire reached its height. He expanded the borders of the empire and even tried to reconquer the lands of the Western Roman Empire. To support his government, Justinian demanded high taxes. In 532, a revolt broke out in Constantinople. Justinian ruthlessly put down the revolt and reestablished power. Justinian reorganized the laws of the Roman Empire. His code, or collection of laws, covered property, marriage, women, slaves, and criminals. The Justinian Code was the basis of Byzantine laws and became very influential in shaping future legal systems. A split in the church. There were almost constant arguments between Rome and Constantinople about religion. In 1054, the church split. Eastern Christians became known as Orthodox. Orthodox Christians. The Byzantines sent missionaries to spread the Orthodox Church's beliefs to Russia, Africa, and throughout Southwest Asia. All right, let's look at our homework. Number 3, explain the decline of the Roman Empire. Here's a hint. Think about Octavian and Antony, Augustus, civil wars, invasions, inflation, Emperor Diocletian, Rome being conquered, Christianity and Roman law, and the Eastern Roman Empire. Write your answer as a paragraph and try to include as many of those as you can. It wasn't just one thing that led to the decline. It was a number of things. Several things led to the decline of the Roman Empire.